Hey guys, today I have a lot of lube. I've been told that my job today is just to review Martian, and also whatever else I'd like to do. I personally use a lot of Lunar as well, so I'll be looking at both of these and the rest of them. I guess if you'd like to go check them out, then you can go to the description and see other people's videos on these lubes. So this is Martian, and all of the lubes come in two sizes. We have 3cc and 10cc. I think cc is just milliliters. Also, there's a promotion on Speedcube Shop right now until the end of June. If you apply the discount code LUBE to your order, then you can get a free sample of lube. I will be testing out different lube settings on two Qi MS cubes. I could use something like the GAN XS, but mine is already set up to perfection, and if you are confused about lubes, you most likely are somebody who is still buying some of the cheaper cubes because you're sort of newer to cubing. First, I tried testing both of these cubes without doing anything to them out of the box, so it's just whatever factory lube is already in there. As we go through this video, I'll show you how I apply the lube, and I will compare them to each other and to how the cube just was out of the box. One thing I'm not going to try is cleaning out the cube so that there is no lube. If you don't put lube, depending on the cube, it may or may not feel okay, but then after you use it for a while, it will build up dust very quickly. And that will just make it much worse for sure, so it's not something I'm going to try. 4 drops, break in, enjoy. Because this is a pretty thin liquid, then it's going to spread around the cube very easily, which means I can put it anywhere. I will just open the cube and drop some in here. So I will just apply 4 drops. Remember, you do not need very much. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it. Next, I break it in, so just doing a lot of turns. Well, the cube definitely turns faster, but you can't always say for sure that that's a good thing right away because it depends on how fast the cube already was and whether or not you can still control it. Just from doing some algorithms, I think the flow is definitely a lot smoother, and there are fewer catches in general. Now, before going on to solves with this, I'm going to set up the other Qi MS differently. As a lot of you guys know from my lube tutorial that I mostly just use weight 5 or weight whatever I get from Speedcube Shop. So that would be something like this, weight 5 silicone lube. So this is pretty much what I use for most of my puzzles most of the time, and that's partially just because it works and I'm lazy. If you look at where the corner and edge makes contact as you turn, then of course there's this big flat surface, but a lot of the surface is also this part right here. I usually aim for the contact points closer to the inside of the cube. So I'll just put a couple of lines, so just a small little bit here and closer to the inside sort of here and maybe the other side. This is pretty much enough, and I don't need to put any on the corner because the corner will just touch this and also gain the lube. So now I just put it all back together and work it in. This one takes a little while longer to work in, but then as you go, you start to realize that closer to the inside, which is where I lubed, it starts to get a little bit slower. If you're new to cubing, remember, fast cubes aren't everything. You want to balance between speed and control, and lube isn't just to make the cube turn fast, it's to control the speed of the cube in either direction. Alright, here's some of my solves with the Martian lube. Compared to before I put the Martian lube in, I think it's definitely better in terms of the corner cutting and the control in general. It's hard to describe, but it's kind of like adding this lube just made the cube better in a lot of ways. Now, the one thing it didn't help the cube with is the cube was already very fast, and Martian is also a fast lube, so the cube just got way too fast. If you have tighter settings or stronger magnets on cubes that can be slow, then you'll probably make fewer mistakes, and this would just be great. However, on the Qi MS specifically, I found weight 5 to be better, although not the best, and I will show you a combination soon that actually beats both of these. The thing is, with just the weight 5, before you break it in a lot, it does feel a little bit sluggish sometimes. Again, it's very hard to describe, but the way it feels with just weight 5 is that the cube is being slowed down, which was my goal, but it's kind of like in a certain way. During some turns it's slowed down a lot, and at other times I don't feel it quite as much. Now, I tried one more combination, which is applying Martian and weight 5, both the same way I showed earlier, and when I had these both in the cube at the same time, I noticed that I felt all of the good effects of weight 5, like it made the cube more controllable, not too fast, but the Martian kind of sped it up just a little bit, where it smoothed out the edges of the times that I wasn't feeling like the cube was performing exactly how I wanted. So in the end, my review for Martian is that I find it has a specific purpose, which is to speed cubes up if you are to use it by itself. Weight 5, if you apply a lot, can slow down the cube, and if you don't apply too much, can help to speed it up. I still find weight 5 to be more versatile, but that doesn't mean I would only use it over Martian. As it turns out, I really like the combination of weight 5 and Martian. And that's just for cubes that are kind of at an okay speed or maybe a little bit fast. If there were any cubes that were just too slow, I would probably just put in more Martian and less weight 5. Now, I do want to mention Lunar a little bit, even though I wasn't told to specifically review this lube. This is one of my favorites. Lunar Lunar is very fast, and I would not use it on 3x3s as I don't think a super fast 3x3 is necessarily helpful. But on big cubes like 7x7, the pieces have so much friction and it's so much harder to turn, heavier to hold, so you really want to make sure you use as little effort as possible by applying a fast lube. In preparation for this video, I have not practiced 7x7 for a long time, so the inner layers are kind of really stuck together. Yeah, it's because of this video, not because I was practicing blindfolded or anything. Even though it's a pretty thin lube and moves around well, in a 7x7, I don't believe it's getting everywhere when I just drop it from the top. I could be wrong, but just to be safe, what I usually do is take out pieces. Then I just like to lube some of the more internal parts of the pieces, like this part, but not this part, because if you put it closer to the inside, I find that the lube just tends to work a little bit better. So just one drop on each of the pieces and then put it back in, and then I just start working it in. And then you start to notice that as you go, you can start to turn the cube way faster than before, and it's really easy to kind of like forget how fast a cube could turn just because you haven't lubed it in a while. The biggest difference this has ever done for me is it dropped my average from 3:15 down to 3 minutes, which is a huge deal just by applying lube and not learning anything new. So there's my review of Lunar and Martian, and also a bit of Weight 5. I'm not that into lubes, so I don't know very much about the other ones, but this is definitely enough for me. If you do want to learn more though, make sure you check the links in the description to see what other creators have to say. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.